Good afternoon, everybody. It's been an amazing first season of some Queensland League of Legends. My name is Maximilian Thor von Neumann, also known as Formal Casting, and after 5 long weeks, I am finally back. I know it's been a while, but I could not miss this grand final, and joining me alongside, of course, is going to be Cooper Trooper making his own Queensland debut. A lot of Queensland debuts over the past 5 weeks, I do say, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, our final week, at least for Division 2. Well, I couldn't ask for anyone else by my side. Cooper, how are you feeling today?
Feeling good, Formal. As you said, first having a crack here at with the Queensland High School. I'm looking forward to it. It's a big game. It's a big couple of games. I haven't seen the teams play, so it's going to be super interesting. Obviously, being able to check them out in the pre-game lobby and seeing all their open.ggs as well. I've been having a little bit of a scan to see what I should be looking forward to. But obviously, you're the expert here, Formal. Yeah. What should we be expecting?
Well, there's going to be a little bit of the unknown just because of the background of each of these teams are so fascinating. First of all, though, I'm glad you're doing good. You can make up for me. Preemptive apologize to everyone if my voice sounds a little rough and we get a little voice cracky as we go. I am trying to kick a little bit of a sickness that's kind of been plaguing me for a while. That said, yeah, these are two very interesting teams. Starting off on our blue side today, it's going to be Maroochydore. Now, this team's been on stream a couple times. They've been quite strong in the past, particularly that jungle and top laner I've been impressed with. Of course, their order is going to be Bread Weeb, I believe, in the top. Although it looks like a bit of a change, actually. Spooderma going top. Yijok going to be going in the jungle. Israeli Bad traditionally has been in the mid laner. That is Kingling in bot lane, and then Kit Katsuki in support. Although, from what I gather, a little bit of a change. Bread Weeb is going top. Spooderma is actually going to be going mid. So a little bit of change up right there. But when it comes to Maroochydore, I mean, the way how this Division B has worked out was essentially we took, the open ladder teams who couldn't quite make it into that knockout tournament, and they kind of competed in their own. That's what this is. So in that sense, they're kind of like the best of that midfield. Taking them on will be the Lakers Legends, though, and this is a very unique team as well, as they actually started in Division C, quickly proved to everyone that perhaps they should be a cut above, advance themselves to that open division, and now they're in that Division 2 finals, consisting of Kurta in that top lane, Tom the Magic Bomb in the jungle, Ethan of Note in mid, Chippy, as he would like to be called, on ADC, and Toxic Trophy on support.
Yeah, so like you were saying, having a look over a few of their jumping around. I was just looking at Breadweave. I mean, he's over there with a 64, a 70% win rate almost on the Urgot. So it's going to be super interesting if we're going to see the target bans here, or if they're just going to stick with trying to ban out what is meta, or even if they've just hidden it and pardon me, there's a few Nico games, that sort of stuff. Is that what we're going to see?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see for sure as well. I do agree, especially considering how volatile the metal actually is right now with recent changes to champions like Mundo. Do we see that appearance on the Rift today? To be quite frank, kind of don't know where we're going to go with this one. Something that we have learned in watching these high school games in the past is don't let the solo queue rank fool you. The better teams have been able to elevate their individual play through team play throughout this tournament, and in a sense, that's what I'm going to be looking for. So what may be competitive in the meta at that top tier, not so much here. Those easy to execute team fight compositions have been the strongest historically, and that's what I want to see brought out. It's why champions like Nico, who might not be played at top tier but have great team fight potential, are going to be banned out by the red side in first rotation.
Yeah, that's one thing about these, especially these high school tournaments, like you said, Max, is these guys are learning how to play as these teams, and it's a big emphasis. I'm going to repeat you a little bit here in that, yeah, one champion can be great, and you might have just been beaten by Tryndamere 3 games in a row in solo queue, but less, the word I'm using is not right, but more often than not, you'll see that Tryndamere is probably not going to be a solo carry in a 5v5 component like this, where these two teams have drafted, they've realized what they're going to be doing, whether it be early game, mid game, or late game. They're going to figure it out, and they're going to run with that.
Yeah, and of course, you add that best of series element to it all as well. This is going to be a best of 3, not a best of 5 like what will be happening next month, but still, you have to adapt as you progress through this one. Thresh going to be that priority pick, a bit of a playmaker being locked in for the Maroochydore side. I find this interesting, though, prioritizing the Thresh when there are champions still like Morgana and the likes that could be easily used to counter it available still. The Vel'Koz is going to be the lock-in response for the Lakers Legends.
Yeah, whether that Vel'Koz, I mean, I would love to see the Vel'Koz in the support. I've always been a big fan of the Vel'Koz in support role over the mid role. There's so much potential that can be done, and like you were just mentioning, it is a bit of a, I don't want to say a counter to Thresh. I do think there's a lot of opportunity that you do have with the Vel'Koz into the Thresh, though. There's a lot of range, there's a lot of poke, and if you keep your distance, especially with something like Tristana, you can set up a really, really big lane.
That said, I do like that Tristana lock-in. I think Tristana has kind of become almost that like S tier meta pick just throughout this league. Kane going to be taking a response for Spoodermaw at the moment, as Kane has been another champion that has actually proven to be quite strong within this league if they're able to get going. Kind of a feast or famine type pick in the past, which does make some sense in terms of the approach that I think Maroochydore is going to be coming at with this one. I like the synergy with the Kai'Sa. It does appear that we've got a little bit of a pick dive comp being put together by our blue side.
Yeah, for sure. Jumping back to the Tristana as well, it's a very open pick as well. That could be a Tristana mid for all we know. And obviously the way that we're looking at it, the bot lane and the junglers looking like they've been picked, but that could be a flex Tristana. You know, we're waiting for that mid to get picked. And so obviously if Tom the Magic Bomb doesn't want to face it with the Tristana, or if he does, he can take that and then we can swap up Kurta onto a different ADC. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Maroochydore do here.
Yeah, some lanes, though, that do seem to be getting a little bit ignored is that mid and, of course, the top lane as well hasn't been gone for. Doesn't look as if, you know, Lakers Legends agreed with you with Tryndamere perhaps not being that useful today. They're going to go ahead and ban that out. And I can understand that. I think another thing that's been more in past seasons than necessarily this season that's been prominent in the past has been the idea of the split push and just teams struggling to handle it. And I know that for a lot of players, when you hear struggling to handle a split push, you kind of question and you could be thinking, I thought split push was kind of easy to deal with. Every team should be able to handle it. But that's actually a bit of a myth. A well-executed split push puts even some of the best teams in the world at bay. So if you don't feel confident enough to handle that split push, I think by all means you get rid of some of those top sort of carry options. I think that's a similar vein to why we saw the Alawi get banned out, and now we're seeing that Urgot. Lakers Legends, they're very much deciding, you know what, we'd rather fight you 5-on-5 than try to have you split up the map.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, to reiterate that as well, like the split push is so strong, and for anyone that has been watching this new split push item that's coming out, Max, is going to change the game. But
yes.
but it's still so big, and I mean, someone like Ornn can sit top and do that. Obviously, the Horn Ornn is a massive team fight potential, but you've got champions like Skarner there, you've got the Tristana, you've got the Vel'Koz, and already that is a massive team fight potential. So we kind of jump from Maroochydore, who want this dive comp, which they're getting. Mordekaiser can take someone out. Obviously the Veigar 8-second cage is going to be there. So really looking forward how these two teams, more so in this 20 to 25 minute mark, on how their team fights are going to go, because lots of potential here and two different team fight strategies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of like what Maroochydore is, or sorry, not what Maroochydore, what Lakers Legends are actually doing right now in response, because they are going to try to keep things as close together and tighten it as possible, whereas Maroochydore really wants to find those picks. Even in the team fights, they're going to be looking to isolate targets and sort of pick and take them out, whereas when you look at the Lakers, I mean, they're almost set up for that Wombo situation between the Call of the Forge God as well as the Ultimate Disintegration Ray. That is a straight line beam of damage. And I'm almost wondering if they're kind of going to be putting themselves in positions where they could be almost willing to let players get caught out. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with the Yone pick with what the Lakers Legends were going for. I think this could be a situation where Ethan of Note is kind of locking this in for the team as more of that comfort option and thinking, you know what, with the Yone we can win lane, and heck, even that can pile on damage almost. I'm sure they would have rathered that Yasuo, because then you have like the dream synergy, but overall I do feel that the Lakers Legends, they're going to be looking for those 5-on-5 fights after getting through a lane phase, which they are actually geared to be quite safe for, and then moving forward later into this game, Lakers Legends could be in a good position as long as they can control and dictate where the fights are held.
Yeah, 100%. And just you've kind of got to look at how these fights are going to play out. Obviously, you mentioned that they would have loved the Yasuo there. It would have been really good for the Call of the Forge God. But you're kind of looking at this team fight, and this is how I kind of think it's going to go for the Lakers anyway. You've got Vel'Koz that's not going to come into this fight. He's going to sit at the back and wait for that all holy laser beam to hit through this team. He's going to wait for the call of the Forge God, and Skarner's just going to have to look for Kane or Mordekaiser and just take them out of this fight. And that's where, like you said, you don't like the Yone pick here, but I'm really thinking that if they wanted the Yasuo, then they're confident on this Yone. And I think that's what's going to be the decider. If the Yone can really come through and get a really nicer fate unsealed, we're going to see a big one.
That said, though, it goes back to that Vigar pick, or at least when we're looking at the team fights, though, and the event horizon just being able to separate the team because of how much the Lakers almost want to pile on and stay as a group. The zoning is going to have to be massive, and you've got a couple great zoning champions between the Vigar, between the Thresh, not to mention Mordekaiser as well, taking opponents to that shadow realm where they can have a duel to see who gets left there for all eternity. It's going to be a challenge for sure to find those correct fights, and I do feel if Maroochydore is able to play the map, keep their vision up, and try and keep the Lakers off balance when setting up some of these fights around those neutral objectives like the Dragon, like the Baron, heck, even some of the buffs perhaps as we move further into this game. It's going to be interesting for sure. I think when we come to these team fights, positioning is going to be key, and I'm hoping we see more of that drawn-out chess match. Granted, this is high school League of Legends, though, and if there's something I've learned about high schoolers, they like to fight. So, and I mean that on the Rift, obviously. I don't want that one misconstrued. That one came out a little awkward. But no, I mean, when they're playing this game, they're looking for the conflict. They're looking to go at each other. And I worry if this game does kind of get scrappy, that actually might help the Maroochydore side just because I feel they've got the ability to sort of play around their opponents a little bit more.
Yeah, the longer this game goes on, the more I think Maroochydore will win this. That's where we're looking. The longer, if they can do things like prioritize these dragons, make sure they get those elder buffs, keeping that gold lead, the longer the game goes on, they will eventually, at that 35-minute mark, just start winning because of those things that you mentioned, Formal. That's things like Mordekaiser's ultimate and those big kind of team-splitting abilities.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one to see for sure as we are, as you can tell, approaching the end of this spectator delay, roughly 20 seconds until we kick off our first match. However, got some very mild bad news. We are going to be taking another quick little break just to make sure we are all synced up before getting onto the Rift. So bear with us. We'll be back in just a few moments for game number 1 between Maroochydore and the Lakers Legends. Welcome back, everybody. As promised, it wasn't too long. We're back on Summoners with Maroochydore in blue. The Lakers legends are in red. And while it wasn't a completely unconventional draft, I do want to bring more attention back down to this bot lane because I feel for a lot of players, Vel'Koz support seems more of a novelty than something that you would typically see in competitive play, especially rocking that barrier as opposed to something for the Ignite. And Cooper, I have to ask, do you sort of see what the logic behind this pick actually is?
Now, it's funny you say that, Max, because support Vel'Koz got me to gold the last 2 seasons. So that's something that I'm very, I've known well, and I see why they do it. But we were chatting a little bit pre-game about it. But into a team like Kai'Sa and Thresh, you've got a lot of range, and that's what they'll be doing. They'll be just looking for the poke. Toxic Trophy just wants to sit back, pardon me, and use his Plasma Fission to just poke out Thresh, poke out the Kai'Sa, and make sure that they're low enough health so that they do try and advance. Or if Yeejok comes down, they can't help. That's really what we're looking for here, and that's just lane phase. But
yeah, and I do feel like the Earnest is definitely going to be on that bot side for the side of the Lakers Legends. I mean, that's a very aggressive bot lane between the Vel'Koz and the Tristana. The one thing I'm kind of worried about, though, again, is that barrier lock-in and not something like the Ignite. I feel like if you were going to be going for this hyper-aggressive bot side strategy, you would look to double down, and, well, you would definitely look to avoid pushes like this. A nice Death Sense on the Toxic Trophy. Makes the first trade go heavily in favor of Maroochydore, and I'm a little bit surprised that the Lakers Legends actually walked into that.
yeah, I mean, well, firstly, the barrier did go down, so I was going to say definitely would have preferred the Ignite, but the barrier there did actually come in handy, and I was 1 second away from saying it is probably because of the fact that if Kikatsuki can land those really clutch death sentences like that one, that it could be over, and that's kind of just what happened. But yeah, it's that's the start now, is it not, Formal?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it is. It's just kind of why I was hoping, they would have been able to read it through. Although it's not all doom and gloom for the Lakers Legends. As we were talking about that bot lane, mid lane going quite well for them. Ethan of note able to shove in that mid lane and get a ward down onto that top side blue buff. So the tracking going to be very easy for Tom the Magic Bomb right now. Should be able to really follow the pathing of Yeejok. And moving forward as well, Skarner should have a bit more of that jungle priority. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Lakers Legends make that first jungle move.
Yeah, well, hopefully we're going to see both Kane and Tom the Magic Bomb meet in this top river here, looking towards the crab, obviously, because Ethan in the mid lane is, doing so well. And Breadweave is just that little bit pushed up, so I'd like to see both junglers meet there, because I think that's what they're both going to be looking for.
Well, it actually might be Breadweeb who roams down first. A little bit surprising as Kurta. I mean, you saw Kurta try to get that trade underneath the tower to try and dissuade Breadweeb from essentially pressuring Tom the Magic Bomb off. It didn't really quite go in the way of the Lakers Legends, and that's going to be a small victory for Maroochydore. They won't be able to double crab as Tom has made his way straight down to that bot side. Meanwhile, first blood in the mid lane. Ethan of note, bringing out the damage, and with the help of Ignite, secures that first kill.
Very well played by the Yone there. He knew his boundaries in and knew that the cage there from Vigar couldn't stop that last little tick of the Ignite, along with his death mark there as well.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play from Ethan of note in that mid lane, getting themselves that first kill, and already we're seeing a bit of struggle coming from Spoodermaw, unfortunately, and the side of Maroochydore. I mean, if you're rooting for this team, you're going to want to see hopefully a bit safer play coming from that mid lane, especially on the Veigar, but it's hard. I mean, this is a champion who typically does sit back and farm. Perhaps the response will happen in the top lane right now. Yeejok going in on Kurta with help of Breadweeb. They get a good chunk of damage down initially. Flash is forced to be used, but it's not going to be enough to secure that kill.
Ooh, double knock him in the bot lane, but that's kind of what we were looking for. I mean, the flash is good for Breadweave. He's going to be able to just push his lead now. He's looking at, he's a little bit of CS down, but with no flash available, Yeejok's still there. Formally, he's looking for a second crack.
Yeah, Kurta pushed back forward again, thinking there's safety in that minion wave, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case. Tries to make a lunge for safety, but Yeejok still all over Kurta. And the reason why these return ganks are going to be so good for Yeejok is you're working closer and closer to that Ras Kane, which realistically is going to be the Kane of preference moving forwards.
Yeah, for sure. Eyes back down to the bot lane, though, Formal. We are just watching... just watching Toxic Trophy just use that range like we mentioned earlier. And he really is just keeping them back, and that's what's giving Chippy kind of the ability to just... Not so much free farm, but just focus on farming and not so much poking, because that's all Toxic Trophy is doing.
Yeah, Toxic Trophy. Pardon me. There we go. We're back right now. Yeah, Toxic Trophy definitely trying to defend and protect Chippy as much as possible. Although Chippy's stepping quite far forward right here.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're trying
very far back.
Now, this is interesting, though, because we didn't see Maroochydore kind of take that bait, and I almost wonder if they think that Tom the Magic Bomb is actually lurking in the flanks right now, if they feel that that jungle's on the bot side. Either way, Yijok is on the bot side. It's going to go after Ethan of Note, get some damage in, but it's getting no help from Spoodermon and is going to be forced to walk away from the trade.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. Spoodermon just had those minions on his tower. Ethan of Note had pushed that so perfectly into his tower that Spoodermon had left there. He would have just lost too much experience in the lane and would have put him further back, in all honesty.
Still, though, we are seeing Yijok get closer and closer to that Rost Kane, which I imagine at this rate we'll actually be getting quite soon. Hasn't been able to get any kills, but a lot of damage down onto those melee champions, which is what you want to see. Meanwhile, interesting push coming in from Maroochydore on that top side right now. They had a chance to actually peel towards the dragon, but they stay in lane, and that could backfire. Kingling does get knocked up by Toxic Trophy, but Chippy does not want to go for the kill just yet. They do have Tom the Magic Bomb making their way down, and Kingling walks away from the Lantern. That's going to warrant a rocket jump in. Flash has to be used, and a great death sentence does make connection onto Chippy, flaying that attacking Lakers Legend side back. Hitsuki's trying to buy time, but Kingling still that target. Gets hit with a good chunk of damage, and yet still nearly turns it around with the last-second Void Seeker. They do wind up going 1-for-1. Not the best gank in the world, but both sides will be happy with that.
Yeah, we really needed old Chippy there to stay alive. That dragon is looking juicy as ever, and I think they are still actually going to go for it. But a little bit sad that didn't go the way of the Lakers there, seeming as I think Chippy just moved a little bit too forward there, Formal, in terms of where the tower was. And I think Kingling played that very well, using both the flash and the heal to sort of bait him into thinking that he was safe, where he just wasn't there. And that's going to be the first dragon down for the Lakers.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't the cleanest gank, but they get what they want at the end of it all, which is that first Ocean Drake, and it's a relatively fast one as well. Nice little knock-up on Carter right there. We'll be winning that trade. These Ocean Drakes going to be quite useful. I mean, at least that first one, definitely going to be helpful. I think this next dragon being the Cloud Drake almost will be a bit more what the Lakers Legends want to see, getting that Impale as well as Call of the Forge God on those slightly shorter cooldowns. I do feel, though, looking forward as well, just taking a quick look at where we're at gold-wise at least, it's going to be a challenge for the Lakers Legends to keep this dragon momentum, because that bot lane is still heavily in favor of the Maroochydore side.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're just kind of looking at that CS difference there, and I was kind of hoping that the support Valkos would be putting towards that and stopping them being able to do it, but it hasn't really phased them at all, their Formal. But look at Ethan of Note going in the mid.
Yeah, Spoodermon. Ooh, barely able to escape that. Nice little dodge from Ethan of Note, though, avoiding Yijok as well. This is turning into a 2v1 situation. Yijok needs to be careful here, has to flash over the wall, but the follow-up from Ethan of Note is enough to secure the kill, and it's now a 3-1 lead in favor of the Lakers.
And that's a 2-0 Yone with what is almost over 30 CS up now. That is not someone you want to be, Formal. That's a spooky man. Oh,
make it a 3-0 Yone right now. I think I should have explained to you another rule about these casts before we got started. If I highlight a pick or a champion or a team comp that I'm not so sure about, they're going to carry. That's just been a rule throughout this league, and Ethan of Note proving it once again. 3-0-0 on this Yone right now. Still hasn't been able to really leave that mid lane yet, but I imagine very shortly we're going to start seeing that roaming gank swung between Ethan and Tom the Magic Bomb, and I'm not too sure what Maroochydore is going to be able to stop it. Yeah,
well, that's a Rift Herald going down as well. But yeah, we were kind of watching Ethan not be able to leave because Yijok was stopping him. But now that Yijok has gone down, and I mean, Ethan of Note is very, very strong. I don't even think both Spudimar and Yijok could stop him in theory.
Oh, Tom stole it! He steals away the blue buff, and now it's actually sticking around. Yijok needs to be careful right here. Spoodermon is roaming up, though, and that will be enough to scare Tom the Magic Bomb away. A nice, cheeky little blue buff steal, though, for the Skarner.
Yeah, that was honestly, it's more annoying just for old Yijok, but it's also we were chatting about, you know, these high school teams love to fight it out, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing these two powerhouses really go at it, and I think Yijok is going to struggle now, especially with that death down to Ethan of Note. But we are, like you said, waiting for Rast, and that's where we're going to see him kind of come back and be like, hey, you had your fun, and now I want mine. as I
And
say
I
that.
imagine this is going to be a play that gets us to Rust, but at what cost? Call of the Forge God is going to be used to go in on Breadweave, who is stuck in the death realm, where I don't even think Breadweave wants to be there. Is barely able to escape in time, but with that flash, Kurt is going to secure the first kill. Yizhak still sticking on it, but is at a 3-level disadvantage. Meanwhile, down in the bot lane, Chippy actually gets flayed back, but the ultimate disintegration ray does a lot of damage. Doesn't matter. That's the killer instinct from Kingling, content to trade under the towers. Up top, Kurta is able to find Yizhak as well. Back down to the bot. Ethan of Note looking to get onto Kit Katsuke, who has nowhere to run, throws a death sentence, makes contact, tries to take down Toxic Trophy, and does with help of the box. Able to trade yet again. Ethan of Note, though, will clean up, and that's now an 8-3 lead in favor of the Lakers Legends.
We just watched Kurta do what Ethan of Note just did in the mid lane as well. Yijok he's trying his best, he really is, but he's just not getting anything here, Formal. Another 2v1 for the Lakers in the top lane. And I was watching the top lane while you were casting that the bot lane fight, but yeah, the Rave Disintegration is where it comes. And the Rast is there now, so hopefully Yijok will start to be a little bit more prevalent in this game, but that's not a great feeling going from one 2v1 to a second 2v1 and losing both.
Yeah, it is a little bit awkward, realistically, from both these sides right now. And Maroochydore, they're very much going to be being put on the back foot from this point forward. If I am the Lakers Legends right now, I'm using that Herald, I'm cracking open that mid lane, and I am getting Ethan of Note around the map. That is the sort of pressure that I want to see. I mean, Tom the Magic Bomb was able to pick up Shelly on the tail end of all that fight right now, and I'm hoping to see that's where it's going to be used. Meanwhile, though, it actually looks as if Maroochydore is opting for a lane switch, as now we have Breadweave in that mid lane. Spoodermaw is going to be going up top to try and get themselves back into it against the more passive Ornn, but you have to remember, Kurta is still sitting 2-0.
Oh, yeah, and you're still looking at a 2-level disadvantage here for poor Spoodermaw. Like, they're both level 10 here, Formal. They're both very strong, and he's as underleveled as it is, and he just needs to be stacking those Qs on the Vega.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough climb back, I feel like, for such a scaling champion right now when you're this far behind this early. Granted, team-wise, it's only a 2K differential, so it's not the end of the world. There's still a significant gold advantage when you compare these ADCs, although if Kingling dies here, well, all of that gold advantage is for naught. Dragon still is going to be secured by Maroochydore, kind of on the tail end, but I'm not sure they win this ensuring fight. Impale used immediately onto Yizhak as Ethan of Note goes to that death realm. Toxic Trophy drops the box, trying to create some space around them. Breadweave does go down. What a rocket jump! Just giving over that double kill over to Ethan of Note, and as expected, the Lakers Legends do clean up the fight.
I will say, though, that fight could have gone so poorly for the Lakers. I was noticing that Toxic Trophy had used his Rave Disintegration on obviously Kingling there, but that would have been a huge opportunity. I thought if Maroochydore there could just get a little bit more off, that could have been devastating for the Lakers.
Instead, though, I think things are still going to be really good for them. 6-0-1, Ethan of Note. Mid tower has gone down, so this Yone realistically has now been unleashed and is able to explore the map. Ross Kane has been picked up from Yishak, but I'm almost starting to worry now, Cooper. Like, is it too little too late?
Maybe. I mean, like we were saying, it's the gold drink is ready, but I mean, if Ethan goes up against anyone here, any one of the Maroochydore, I think he's just going to be able to take them. And I mean, we've watched him take two as well, so they're going to have to send a full team towards him, and that's just going to open up the map for Chippy and Kurta and even Toxic Trophy.
Yeah, if there's going to be any way for Maroochydore to come back in this game, it's going to come off of this player down here. Kingling on this Kaisa. Still has a gold lead over Chippy in this situation. Still has the second most gold in the game. But Kaisa wants to be all in, and against that team composition, I'm not sure it's going to be there. Fortunately, Flash available for Spoodermaw is able to escape, and the same cannot be said down below because, well, Flash is just not quite needed, and Spoodermaw is in trouble here. Ethan of Note about to collect again, except Kurta says, no, I want this kill. If you really want one, maybe you can take out Yijak as they arrive to the lane as well.
Yeah, Spoodermaw has really been focused here for him. He's having they know that they can just keep bullying him, and that's pretty much what they just need to do. And as you mentioned, Ethan of Note is now unleashed. He's unchained on the Yone, and he's free to go whatever lane he wants. He's pretty much free to take whatever kill he wants at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be a scary situation for Maroochydore. How well can they protect? How well can they accelerate this bot lane? Kingling is going to have to find a way to get involved right now. That really feels like Maroochidore's last option.
Yeah, I mean, we were chatting pre-game about what we should be seeing Lakers do. Ooh, as I say that, Yijok in the top lane. Kurta's out of mana here, though.
Yeah, no mana for Kurta. This actually could go well for Yijok if they're able to play this one correctly, but they need to be careful. Every one of those autos does a good chunk of damage. Still, the double buff and the help of Spoodermaw would, in theory, be enough. Flash for flash, knock-up connects, and Yijok will get a massive shutdown.
That is very, very good for Maroochydore,
Oh, no.
but this is not...
Oh, no. Yijok tries to escape, but cannot, and wound up getting Spoodermaw caught as well. What a great use of that Fate Sealed coming out of Ethan of Note. A fantastic double.
Ethan of Note does not stop, Formal. I mean, he was listening. He heard you tell him that Yone will not be as good as Yasuo here, and he said, that's it. I am proving to this man that I can carry this. He's 8-0. He's sitting double both Mordekaiser and the Vigar in gold here as well. He's massive, and he's going to be very hard to stop.
Meanwhile, a nice little knock-up on the Kingling is going to force a Lantern take down in that bot lane. I mean, we're at over a 5k advantage right now for our red side. The Lakers Legends definitely looking in control. I have said historically, though, good teams can get leads, great teams can finish with leads, and I'm curious to see how the Lakers Legends are now going to play with this lead that they've established for themselves. Chippy getting caught would not be a good start.
I was just about to say before you said that is, if Ethan of Note goes down, if he gets in his own head about how strong he is, and then,
Impale on the bread weave. Yijok is there to try and make the save, but you cannot save that amount of damage from a double buff. 9-0 now, Yone. Ethan of Note gets another kill as Kurta just calmly ignores Spoodermont, continues to wail on that Dragon. Shelly picked up for a second time, dropped immediately into that mid lane right now as the siege is looking to continue. Ethan and Tom the Magic Bomb just going to work. Yijok can do nothing except watch tower after tower fall in front of him. Now forced to try to run away. Will not get stunned this time, but the second charge does go through, and the base is nearly cracked open.
We're looking at this last tower here, and like you said, Kurta is just wailing away on this tower. Ooh.
Yeah, call the Forge God. Oh!
Ooh.
Well, you know what? It's not a perfect game anymore from the Lakers Legends. Hate to say it. They might as well just GG go next. I mean, yeah, you can get, Spoodermaw. Okay, yeah, maybe you get this solo kill, but we all saw what happened, buddy. I'm sorry. Meanwhile, down below, Ethan of Note is immediately jumped upon by nearly the entirety of the Maroochydore side, and they cannot bring him down. Chippy should be able to clean this one up. Nope, actually doesn't get that last auto onto Breadweave. Needs to back away. They're going to have to be content with only getting rid of Kingling and Kit Katsuki, or are they? Nice snipe out of Toxic Trophy is able to find Breadweave, and now Yishok alone under the tower. No waves coming to back him up, and as soon as this wave crashes, I think Yishok's going down.
Yeah, there's nowhere for him to go here, Formal. This is where you kind of just sit there and type GG boys. Oh, no. Toxic Trophy will take that one.
I don't even think that was intentional.
That was a really good use. Jumping back to that fight there, a really good use of the Valkos ultimate again. I really, for a second there, I thought Maroochydore had Ethan, and I thought that could have been the turn. I mean, you've got a 700 gold shutdown. That's $1,000 kill right there. That 1,000 gold could go to any one of them. Obviously, we're looking at King Ling for a couple more items, but it would be huge.
It has been huge thus far. As I mean, I still find it interesting that the two kind of champions on the Lakers side that I was questioning the most, the Yone and the Vel'Koz, are the two that are like doing amazing right now. I mean, we were talking about how Chippy was perhaps not keeping up in terms of gold income compared to Kingling, but that was sort of ignoring the support, and it is a Vel'Koz, and it is a damaged Vel'Koz as well, and we've seen that in play. Meanwhile, down in that bot lane, it looks to be still a case of Kingling and Kit Katsuki. They want to get rid of that bot tower before they can sort of be more involved. And I think Kit Kat just tried to predict a flash.
Maybe?
I'm going to go with that. Tom the Magic Bomb, though, is here. Call of the Force God will be used. Yijok's going to try to arrive for the countergate. Kingling does get impaled as being dragged back into Kurta, but I'm not sure the follow-up damage is necessarily there. The box is dropped, and Kurta just ignores it, charges right through it, gets right into Kingling's face, and will secure that kill. Tom the Magic Bomb looking to re-engage from behind, trying to keep Kurta alive. Yijok doing what they can to stay on this tanky Ornn, but with Tom wailing away, forced to use the ultimate, doesn't have the damage, gets knocked up, but Tom starting to back off, doesn't matter, re-engaging, gets the kill onto Yijok, and all of this is buying time for Toxic Trophy to rejoin the fight as well. Kit Kat just needs one more auto, but cannot find it. Kurta gets out alive.
This is the reason we play. Oh, a little Zonya's there from Toxic Trophy. This is why we play tanks in the top lane, Formal. I don't know about you, but Kurta he didn't care. He looked like me going to an all-you-can-eat hot dog place. You know what I mean? He saw poor Kingling and was like, "I'm not stopping for nothing. That's where I'm going. That's where we're going to be." And I mean, really, they kind of just did it to themselves. Obviously, I didn't have the Thornmail then, but the Bramble vest definitely helped. But that was just, I felt bad. They were doing everything they could, but he just would not go down.
Kurta just used teleport. Sorry, there we go. Now we're back. Yeah, Kurta just used teleport to go to that bot lane. That's interesting. I'm not too sure about that one, considering that Baron is a current objective. The Lakers Legends probably feeling confident enough at this stage with their 12K lead that it might not matter. A name that we haven't said too much recently has been Ethan of Note, just kind of been plugging away on that top side. Still waiting for them to get involved. You got a 1-3-1 split push put together, and even then, they're looking for the fights. Tom the Magic Bob was caught by the Event Horizon, so the Impale doesn't do as much work as they'd like. Chippy, as well, is taken to the death round, where Breadweave is going to be looking to take this Tristana out. Do they have enough damage? Will he be able to get out? Because Ethan of Note is back and arrives just in time to make the save. That said, B Chippy, well, went in a little bit too deep. Doesn't matter, because the note of Ethan of Note is a death note, and he's just writing everyone down in that, sealing their fates with each scribe of the pen. Finds another 2 kills in the fray. Tom the Magic Bomb is just going to escort Yijok, who used his ultimate at a very unfortunate time, right back to the rest of the team. Ethan of Note goes ahead, picks up another kill, and it's now a 29-7 score line.
We've said it before, Formal, but Toxic Trophy is playing incredibly. I mean, Ethan of Note did a huge Fate Unsealed there, obviously grabbing that whole team, but there's just these little things that Toxic Trophy is doing. He's got these little, throws his knock up where it needs to be, where someone's going to step, and it will just get them so that either he or his team can secure the kill. It's honestly a heap of fun to watch these guys play. And in saying that, we didn't even see Kurta in that fight. There was no Call the Forge God at all. He was just sitting in the bot lane, just waiting.
Yeah, just plugging away. And you have to remember, that fight started in the 3v5. Like, this is how far the Lakers Legends lead has them. And this is what I was talking about before. You know, good teams get leads, great teams close leads. Well, now Kurta is looking to possibly initiate the game-ending fight right here. Here's that Call of the Forge God we missed before, but stuck in the Event Horizon. Isn't able to use it, but it doesn't matter, because Ethan of Note is here, has already found Kingling. Going to be going on to Yijok next before being pulled back. Kick Katsuki way too deep, not where this Thresh wants to be. Chippy will help get the kill. Actually is able to secure it. It looks as if Ethan of Note is willing to share some of the gold with their team at this stage of the game. Another 2 picks. I'm surprised we don't see the push continuing.
Yeah, we're looking at the Dragon coming out now. Max, and like we said pre-game, that they're pretty far ahead. I mean, you're looking at what's that, a 15k gold lead at 23 minutes. Historically, that's a gold lead that is very, very hard to come back from. I'm not going to say can't. You know, there's a word that we say, Form Lights never say never. We've seen it before.
I'll say never. I'll say it. I'm not afraid.
It can be done, but it's hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. That's a 13-0 Yone that they're going to have to try and shut down, amongst other things, like how big Kurta is, how big Chippy, and like I've been chatting him all up, Toxic Trophy playing excellently.
Yeah, no, this has just been, you know, a very strong performance from what was initially a Division C team. I mean, the improvement we've seen from the squad definitely has been amazing to watch, as they are looking to start this Baron. Yijok tries to find a way into the pit, but it's a little bit too early. Don't want to commit too hard to it yet. Keep your eye on Chippy as well up above, trying to stay safe by that blasting cone. Yijok again cannot find that entrance in, as Ethan of Note unleashed, finds the jungler, quickly gets the pick. And now with no smite steal available, I do not believe Maroochydore can contest this, especially considering King Katsuki is down on the bot side of the map. Maroochydore very disjointed right now, and Kingling might be the one who pays the price for it, getting caught out a little bit. Called the Forge God used way too early and then thrown in a strange direction. Doesn't matter though, because Chippy, as Ethan of Note, have found the flank, and down goes Spoodermaw. Kingling should be that next target. Another rocket jump forward. 1, 2. I'll need a couple more autos before you secure the kill this time, Chippy. Still, Kurta was by your side, decides to back away for now, as Kingling's looking to try and stay alive the ultimate disintegration way. Zap, gone. All right, under the tower we go. Ethan Note picks up yet another pick. Kick Katsuki and Yijok going to try to make the save, but they can't take down Ethan of Note, who drags Yijok back to that back line. What a shield, what a play. Down goes Yijok. Down goes the Nexus Towers, and that should be the end of game number 1. Kit Katsuki, one support versus the world, and it goes just about as well as you would expect. Chippy making quick work of the Thresh. The Nexus goes down, and the Lakers Legends take game number 1.
Absolutely massive first game, and this is what a best of 3 is going to look like. This is what is going to try and shape it. That's going to be hard to come back from. Formal, that's a 25-minute game with, I think at the end there was about almost a 20K gold lead in the differential there.
It was a little bit more, actually. It was like 20.1K gold lead, a 30-kill lead, 25-minute game, a 15-0-11 mid lane Yone. Everything came up exactly the way how the Lakers Legends were hoping it would. They wanted some of these condensed team fights. They wanted to keep their opponents as bottlenecked as possible. And they were able to find avenues to do that. Even with the wide berth of the mid lane at time, they were still able to keep their opponents bottlenecked. And that came after they had already established the lead through a lot of that early and mid-game phasing. I think something we didn't talk enough about was how they were constantly getting deeper wards in, and Tom the Magic Bomb was constantly harassing Yishok throughout that early and mid-game, which helped enable Ethan of Note play that aggressive style in the mid lane, which helped give him that lead. Realistically, the team was doing a very good job in playing the map, playing with the information they had given for themselves, and the result was a very dominant performance.
Yeah, that was one thing that I noticed that we hadn't chatted about either was a lot of the ward and then the vision that the Lakers had in that. There was even that Baron fight where they had that whole Baron pit complete. They could see every bush, and that's you're right. It's 100% part of why that came through. And obviously, we did see Yijok have a very, very hard start to that game. And if you'd just come back through a little bit earlier, it would have been a different game. But yeah, just seeing how far Ethan of Note got ahead, it's hard to bring that back because as soon as that mid gets opened by Shelly, and we watched it happen, and we even said that's where we would be looking, it's very hard to bring that back. And we said it, he was unchained by about the 15-minute mark formal. So having that is very hard. But are we going to see it again next game?
I don't. Something tells me we might be seeing that Yone get banned next game. Just for one last note before we do throw it to a break, as we will be doing that in just a few moments. In case you were wondering what the damage totals were, third place actually happened to be Kurta on the Ornn, 16,221. Second place was, that toxic trophy on the support Vel'Koz, 18,540. And then, I think we all know who was number 1 on that damage chart. Our good old friend, Ethan of Note, 30,169, I believe. 179, even a little bit more on that Yone. So essentially double, if not more so, the amount of everyone else on the Rift. A fantastic performance from game number 1, and we've still got at least one more game. Will Maroochydore bring it back? Can the Lakers Legends get a sweep? Find out after a few more moments. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our Queensland Division 2 Finals. Game number 1 saw the Lakers legends put forth a very dominant performance through their mid laner, and Ethan of note, able to put a great game on that Yone, help carry the team to a rather quick victory. It just took them 25 minutes in game number 1, and now, if they can do it again, they'll be our Division 2 champions for Maroochydore. A chance at redemption. We have swapped the sides, and Cooper, I have to ask, what are you expecting to see through our second pick and ban phase?
Well, I think we both know we both don't expect that Yone coming through. I don't think we'll see the Yone at all. I would like to see the Yasuo be picked up. I mean, it was banned last game, but are we going to see both the Samurai Brothers banned in this one? I don't honestly think we will, but I mean, the Ornn was big too. That's the thing. There's so many of these champions that they did really well on. Obviously, Kurta on the Ornn and Ethan of note, but then Toxic Trophies, Vel'Koz support. I mean, do you think we're going to see something as spicy as the Vel'Koz support coming back?
I definitely hope so, because I think that Vel'Koz support was very underrated. Also, apologies, everyone got to saw me cleaning my nose. Thank you, producer Jet. Always finding ways to troll me in these. But yeah, no, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens, as it looked as if there was a little bit of a mistake that was made. I imagine we'll be seeing the same picks and bans through quite quickly, hopefully. And we'll get right back into this one. Another look at our lineups before we continue along. Again, mentioning that side swap. I mean, it's really hard, I feel, with the Lakers Legends, just because they had so many characters step up and perform quite well. Hopefully, how do you find ways to ban this team out?
It's one of those things, isn't it, Former? You kind of look at... We did see, obviously, the Nico ban, and as I said, we've been going through the OP.GGs a little bit, and I'd seen a couple of the Nico games come through, and that's why that's that getting banned there. But you've only got 5 bans here, Former. You can't ban the entirety of every assassin and every tank and every ADC just to make it easier. You've got 5, and you've got to make sure that's not going to happen again. I mean, right now I would be targeting Ethan of note. I'd be looking and seeing what sort of champions he's playing, whether it be just a Yone or a Yasuo, and really going 3 or even 4 champions there to make him uncomfortable. He's on this high now, Formal, and if they want to have a chance of coming back and not having him get that sort of Gary pants on, you want to bring him down. You want to make sure you put him on a character he's not as confident on. Hopefully we can see something like that. I would love to see a control mage in the mid lane rather than that. But I mean, obviously the Lakers know that that's what Ethan of note wants to do, and that's what they're going to build around. And that's exactly what they did last game as well, with stuff like the Vel'Koz support, having that AP damage in the bot lane.
Yeah, as we
control.
Well, we are seeing, more of those targeted bans go through. The Yone is now taken away, as we were kind of coming to expect. So too, actually, the Nunu targeted ban for Tom the Magic Bomb. So didn't even see the Nunu game number 1. That Skarner still was actually quite devastating with just like that invade potential. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of a jungle change for our red side of Maroochydore. I don't think the Kayn was really quite fast enough, or didn't have enough of an early game impact to sort of react to the amount of pressure that was being put on him.
Well, I'm loving the Vel'Koz has gotten through, and he's going to jump straight back on it, firstly. But yeah, like you said, the Nunu gets banned up there. Yone first ban. It's I don't know. Are we going to see the same sort of team comp as we did last game, Max?
We very well could. I wouldn't be too surprised, although that's a bit different. Viego going to come through, picked up by Yeja. Kingling going to return to the Tristana once again. Maybe this time we'll be able to see a bit more pressure come through that bot lane. I mean, last time they had to rely on the Kai'Sa, but still wanted to play that aggressive style. I think this time the Tristana might suit this Maroochydore team a bit more. Response is going to be the Caitlyn, a relatively safe bot laner. Very curious to see, though, with how much sort of zoning harass that duo can put out.
Yeah, well, I love that Kingling here has taken the Tristana. I mean, we're talking about how versatile is the word I'm looking for. How versatile that champion is, because you could, in theory, throw her mid, and you do have these two AD threats now. You've got the Viego that could come out of nowhere, and then you've got this Tristana mid that could roam very early. The rocket jump is going to be a massive feature of that. And I would love to see Maroochydore start focusing these things like early dragons, because we saw 2 dragons get snaked up by Lakers very early, and that's those little buffs, but they do really do something in the end. And having that sort of mid control, a little bit of another Tryndamere ban, formal. They really do think that Tryndamere is not just a threat in solo queue, but here in teams as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the same team. It's Lakers, banning away that Tryndamere out from Bread Weeb. Wukong should be taken out as well. Yone and Yasuo, again, both of them have been banned out. I'm curious what other mid laners Ethan of Note has in their repertoire right now. Also, the Rocka being taken to sort of negate some of that sustain being put through. A little bit curious on that one. I'm hoping, actually, this is what I want to see. I want to see Maroochydore kind of flex that Tristana mid at this stage, potentially, and continue to kind of play for a more passive, safe bot lane and just try to pick up the farm where they can. Heck, even something like an Ashe, I think, would be a good pick for our red side, who don't seem to have locked someone in. There we go. It's the Blitzcrank. So, all right, that tells me it's probably going to be a Rocket top. I am a little bit surprised at where this draft is going.
I'm not 100% formal, but I mean, yeah, it's either Soraka top or we're going to be seeing my main man, the Rocket grab in the mid lane. And I say Rocket with a lot of enthusiasm, because that's what it'll be. That'll be a Luden's Echo. Oh.
Okay.
I think we've... Maybe not.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to the Blitzcrank form. I'm kind of taken away that I'm not going to get to see it. Or I might get to see it, actually, now that I say that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly has happened there. It looks as if a bit of a technical difficulty. The Blitzcrank caught me off guard. I don't think the Blitzcrank was actually meant to be locked in. I honestly don't. I think where we were at the draft, the Blitzcrank didn't really quite make sense with the team composition Maroochydore was trying to put together. We should be able to jump back into this pick and ban shortly. I think we're going to throw to a quick break just while things do get sorted. And then when we come back, we'll be right in the thick of that pick and ban. So please stay with us. We'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back, everybody. We are live going through another iteration of our picks and pans, as you can see, carrying right where we left off. Everything the same right before, well, what was that Blitzcrank pick, which I am pretty sure was not intentional. Going to be seeing that mix up a bit right now, although I still stand by what I was saying before. I want to see that Tristana in mid lane.
Yeah, chatting a lot about, as we say that, the Vladimir's going to be picked up. That could still be a top Vladimir, though. Formal, obviously, very still versatile picks. Could be a Vladimir top, could be a Vladimir mid, could be Tristana mid, Tristana bot. I do like that sort of availability. Obviously, the guys will be, these teams, will be on comms and be talking to each other about what they're about to do. Ethan of note going the rise, though, here. Former saying I would love to see a control mage up in the mid lane, and that is one very big control mage right there.
And this is the pick I actually wanted to see. Oh, well, maybe not. I wanted to see the actually back in game number 1. I'd be all right with the set. I don't really want to see the Darius, although that could be the direction that we're heading. In fact, Darius will get locked in. Alrighty then. Well, a bit of a lane bully, I suppose, in that top side against the Vladimir, though. If that's where the Vlad is going, it is not. It's going to be the Ornn once more, which tells me it will be probably that Vladimir mid with the Tristana going bot, should that one get locked in for the Maroochydore side. Interesting team compositions put together right now, and, like, again, before I put too much thought and analysis into it, the new Mundo is going to get played, and now things get interesting.
This is getting a little bit saucy now. Obviously, still very new, only a couple days old, but very... I mean, he's still Mundo, isn't he, Formal? It's interesting. I thought we were just going to see, obviously, Kurta back on the Ornn, but we are putting Spooderman back in the top lane. I say back, but he was never really in the top lane. Or was he? No, he started in the mid lane. That's right. He was mid lane, and then he's back to the top lane. So maybe he didn't want to go up against Ethan of note again for whatever reason, but. It's a very interesting team composition coming up against, you're kind of looking at this bot lane. Again, it's the same sort of thing, except I really, really like this Caitlyn pick with the Vel'Koz pick here, Formal, for the specific fact that you've got range on range now. You don't have to rocket jump into the fight anymore. You've got this Caitlyn, you've got her bear traps, you've got a lot of zoning potential. So even with Soraka there, I think Vel'Koz and Caitlyn are such a good team, especially bear trap into double knock up, and then you've got the Ray of Disintegration.
Yeah, I mean, the Raka Triss lane is safe. Like, both these lanes are safe, I feel like, but if there's going to be any kill pressure or kill earnest, it's still most likely going to come from that Lakers side compared to the Maroochydore side, who, at best, they're going to be looking to keep even in farm and hoping to out-damage late with the Tristana into a Caitlyn. That's well and truly possible, and maybe early, if a couple Yizhak plays happen on that bot side, that can be helpful. Overall, though, I'm really liking the team composition that was put together by the Lakers Legends. And it comes around all the way back almost to the jungle in Tom the Magic Bomb with this Zac. Zac is a very strong juggler. Do not get me wrong. But there are some very significant downsides. You have that slow wave clear, as well as, not a lot of early and mid-game impact. It's kind of more that late-game tank. Yes, you have one of the strongest ganks in the game, but for that to happen, you need to have that kill pressure. And what you give up a lot of the times is some of that lane safety, is some of that jungle safety. I mean, your team needs to survive that early and mid stage, and they've picked a team composition to do that. Vel'Koz Caitlyn should be able to farm safely in lane. Darius should have the sustain in lane as well, especially against that early game Vladimir. The only lane that could be somewhat difficult would be the mid lane, I suppose, with the rise into, well, actually, sorry, it's probably the rise into the Vladimir or the rise into the Mundo. We don't really know yet, but that's okay. I think what we've seen from Ethan of note in game number 1, you can trust this player to do well in lane. I think in this situation, the Lakers Legends have picked a really good team composition that's really emphasizing their strengths.
100%. I mean, I would be very surprised here if we do see the Mundo in the mid lane formal, for the simple fact that he just doesn't excel there. He wants to be up in the top lane, even if it's against a Darius. He does have the passive. Well, Mundo's new passive is obviously stopping all CC for a short second and gaining health. So into a Darius is actually a really good pick. So I'd love to see Spooderman really sort of pop off against this Darius. You always see the Darius is using the Noxian Guillotine to just ruin a team, but I would love to see Dr. Mundo, Spooderman just run through this team up in the top lane and throw it back to, well, back to you, Form. I was gonna keep talking, but I can't.
Oh, that's all well good. Yeah, I mean, it is looking like we're about to wrap up and head to our second break before our second game. Hopefully this time, though, we'll be able to get on that rift and get into the action again. In a position right now where we see the Lakers legend win it, they'll be our Division 2 champions. However, Maroochydore, this is their last chance to bounce back. A win here will take us to that all-important decider in game number 3. 5 seconds till our champions load in. 5 seconds till fates will be decided. Stay with us. More League of Legends when we return. Welcome back, everybody. Game number 2 on Summoner's Rift. Lakers in blue, Maroochydore in red. A chance for our blue side to be Division 2 champions on the line right now. And they're going to be going up against a Maroochydore team who is definitely giving them a different look right now. Something we didn't touch during that pick and ban was the fact that we're seeing a lot of sort of player lane swaps this time around. And I'm kind of curious how that's going to affect the team moving forwards.
Yeah, so obviously, just to outline a few, we've obviously got Breadweeb, pardon me, going to the bot lane now from his lane in the top lane, I'm pretty sure. Spoodermar going from mid lane to top lane, and KitKat Suki from the support role into the mid lane role. I mean, they're very different role swaps here. For you don't normally see a top laner go straight to the bot lane to a support role, but especially as someone as passive and sort of back playing as someone like Soraka, especially after playing the Mordekaiser, which is a little bit off character almost.
Yeah, it is a bit of a surprise. I have to agree. Definitely a very large stylistic change that we're going to be seeing out of Bread, I would have to imagine. Spoodermaw did play a bit of time in that top lane in that opening game, though, so that's probably not the biggest change. Also seeing KitKat Suki now in mid. I mean, if they didn't play a Vel'Koz support the first time, I'd be questioning that. However, this time around, it does make some sense. But yeah, I am worried about the adaptation that we're going to be seeing in the bot lane and how that's going to affect things, because I would argue in game number 1, the bot lane for Maroochydore was probably their best performing lane. As we see Kurta getting a bit of poke damage down onto Spoodermaw at the moment, back in that bot lane. Kingling as well going to be getting a bit of poke down. Kurta as well continuing to sort of try and get that lane pushing their advantage. Very curious to see how this Mundo is going to perform in today's game right now. Good to see, though, that the Hawaiian Mundo still looks very Hawaiian. I want to see that ukulele get thrown. Kind of holding out for that as Kurta gets a bit of chunk of damage through. Now going for a bit more of an aggressive trade, but with the minions in Kurta's in favor, that is going to allow them to push forward. And more importantly, this is typically where you'd see situations where a jungler might get invaded, like a Zac jungle get invaded. But because Kurta is pushing forward, that allows Tom to know that they'll be able to safely farm that top side of the map without being harassed, in theory, by Yizhak. If they would, it'd be easy to collapse on the Viego. So Kurta, by shoving this lane in, is currently protecting their jungler, and that is a very good sign moving forward. As I mentioned before, the reason why you would take a Zac is if you have lanes that are able to support and sustain it, and that is what we are seeing right here. As we do continue along on that top side, Yizhak not able to get that pressure in. A bit of a gank now happening up on top right now. It does look as if Yizhak is going to be looking to make a play onto Kurta, who did push quite far forward. And this is where you'd like to see Tom the Magic Bomb perhaps be more on that top side. Instead, they opted to look towards mid. So everything was looking good, actually, for the Lakers Legends, but now could be in a bit of trouble. Flash still available for Kurta, but doesn't get used. Yizhak going to go ahead and get first blood this time around, going in favor of Maroochydore. And that's, you know, it should have been a little bit predicted, I feel, from the Lakers Legends side. Tom the Magic Bomb could have rotated to that top side and provided a bit of protection. If any gank was going to happen, it was going to be there out of Yizhak and this Viego, who is going to be that more aggressive ganker. So, I don't know, it's sort of like in that situation, your top laner helped out the jungler, but the jungler didn't return the favor. Small mistake winds up costing first blood, and for the first time this afternoon, actually, it will lead to Maroochydore with a bit of a lead.
This is what they wanted Yizhak to do last game as well. I do
believe we may have lost Cooper, so this might be turning into a solo cast actually from here for a little bit. So you're going to have to put up with me. Good luck, everybody. We're going to get through this one. Bread getting a bit of damage, gets knocked up. Follow-up is through. Toxic Trophy securing another kill on this Vel'Koz, just continuing right where they left off back in our last game. 1-0 start and returning the favor down in the bot lane. A little bit surprising to see the Rocket get caught out like that. Kingling now all alone. Will be trying to pick up what farm they can, but needs to be super cautious moving forward here. As it sounds like Cooper is back.
Sorry about that, Formal. I just disconnected, and I thought I was back, and I could hear you. You couldn't hear me, but I am back. I was going to say that just jump straight back into it. The gank before from Yizhak is what we wanted to see last game. We wanted to see him very proactive in the top lane and really getting those kills, but now that Kurta isn't on someone as big as the Ornn, he's easier to take down, and it's good to see.
Yeah, it was a well-executed play, and I think it's going to be the first, perhaps, of many as Yizhak returning to that top side, but they need to act quickly because Ethan of Note is coming top as well. A limited window to try and take Kurta down, who still has Flash available. Hopefully you get to see it used this time. Is stunned, gets that lifesteal. Are they going to Flash? No! They continue to try and push the limit because Ethan of Note's going straight after Spoodermaw, hoping to get this Mundo down before ultimates are available, but they're leaving their top laner out to the pasture. That's going to be Yizhak picking up another kill. This time, though, Tom the Magic Bomb is here trying to return the favor. Yizhak taking quite low. One more auto could take down Ethan of Note, who has the flash, but the bleed damage is enough to secure the kill.
How does it feel? How would it feel there, Formal, where you get you pick Darius and you go, yep, we've got the burn damage, we've got the bleed damage, I should say, and then you just get the old Viego special, and the bleed damage ends up killing you in the mid lane.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a roughie, that is for sure. As Yizhak now 3-1 on this Viego. Kingling's going in, rocket jump right into Chippy's face, forces out the heal from the Caitlyn, who is still alive, still has Flash available as well, but no mana on Toxic or on Chippy. Means Kingling and Breadweeb are just able to bully this bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think this is how it would go. I mean, we were talking about how obviously the range is why they chose this bot lane, but I guess when you're out of mana, you can't really continue to poke there, Formal, but it's good to see Breadweeb playing very forward as well, being proactive with the poke, not just letting Toxic Trophy kind of do what he did last game and get a lot of free damage off and make it very easy for his ADC to continue to just farm.
I do feel, though, that this game could be a little bit deceptive in terms of how the momentum's going, because, yes, Ethan of Note did have that death, and, yes, I would accept an argument that at this stage of the Lakers Legends have not really played the top half of the map ideally at all. I still feel that this team is actually in a very strong spot. I mean, this is reflective in the fact they're only down about 300 gold. When you look at both the top and the mid CS score differential, it is going in each of their favors, and that does translate in sort of the gold differences right now. Ethan of Note has been able to get a small gold lead over Kate Katsuki, and you have to remember, Ethan of Note is kind of this team's carry. He's the one who they're going to be looking to see pop off as they almost get a pick right there. Meanwhile, towards the Dragon pick, I imagine we're going to see a steal attempt come through. It's too little too late, though, from Tom the Magic Bomb. They're not able to find it, although Ethan of Note is looking to collapse down below. I don't believe that Lakers Legends are going to commit to this, although they get the knock up and a good chunk of damage onto Kingling. They decide to give away the Dragon for now.
Yeah. We've still got the teleport available from Spudamire as well. Obviously, that Dragon going down was... he's under a lot of pressure in the top lane. Kurta, even though he's playing Darius now rather than someone like the Ornn, he's still just keeping a lot of pressure. Doesn't want him to go anywhere. They just want to... They're an island up there, Formal. They don't want anyone coming onto their island. They don't want to leave the island. It's just these two in this... one of them... Well, actually, both of them are... I was going to make a movie joke there, and I forgot the name of the actor, Formal. So,
well, I can't help you at all because you gave me no hints on that one. So I'm just going to assume Jason Statham.
That's not it, but we'll just say that was it.
Yeah, Jason Statham. I just watched a really terrible movie recently. It was Death Race. That was it. I watched that recently. Do not recommend. Either way, Kurta currently trying to get some pressure in that bot side, though. Could be walking into a trap yet again. No wards, no jungle support. Kurta will be going down, or will they? This time they actually use the flash. Going to go underneath that tower. Spoodermon doesn't connect with the ukulele. Now Tom is here looking for a bit of a re-engage. But, I mean, look, you're still low, Kurta. Yizhak picks up that first kill quite easily, and now Tom is the one who's in trouble. Still has that passive, which will get popped. Do Yizhak and Spoodermon stick around because Ethan of Note arrives with the Realm Warp, and he'll be looking to take Yizhak down. A last-second burst of healing is enough to maybe bring him back, but a nice elastic slingshot leads to everyone's death except for the Zac themselves. Tom the Magic Bomb left standing after a very chaotic topside fight.
I cannot believe Tom the Magic Bomb was able to survive through that, but what a very, very clutch use of the Soraka ultimate there to keep them both alive just a little bit longer, just for Tom the Magic Bomb to take them down once again.
Yeah, I mean, look, the wish was useful, and I mean, Yizhak continuing to find kills. This is going to be a very tough Viego to handle moving forward. And the unfortunate thing is, when you're looking at the Lakers Legends side, yes, Tom the Magic Bomb is getting some picks themselves and is starting to accelerate their old gold advantage. Actually, currently even in terms of gold with Yizhak. It is a Zac, and this is going to be more of a tank build at the end of the day. You're going to need to get that damage going as well, and hopefully the Lakers Legends are going to be able to find a way to get that damage.
Yeah, 100%. We are seeing a little bit of the tides turning here, though, Formal. This is kind of how the last game started, but in the opposite direction. We're kind of seeing Maroochydore take this one out early. Obviously, there's not too much of a lead in gold and kills, obviously, but, I mean, Yizhak coming top again.
Yep, Kurta again. And at this stage, you have to kind of wonder, when are they going to mix up their strategy? Because we're still seeing no vision, no wards, no protection for Kurta, who continues to push the lane forward and essentially die. And we're not seeing Lakers Legends get anything back in response, although they are going to be trying to make a play down below. Tom the Magic Bomb just unable to connect with the elastic slingshot. I feel like at this stage of the game, the Lakers Legends are just giving away topside advantage for no reason.
Yeah, that's what it almost seems like. I mean, like you pointed out, there's no real vision there. You've got, no vision at all, actually, if I'm looking now. Yeah, it's kind of just like Yizhak knows that now. He knows that he can go top lane. He's playing this character now that is strong pretty much from level 1, really, like the Viego, whereas the Kayn really needs to ramp up. And as I said,
and if Ethan of Note goes down here, that would be massive. The Ignite is enough to secure the kill for King Katsuki. It's Kingling. Rocket jumps in, has the damage for the kill, and with no mana on Toxic Trophy, will be able to bring it back. Tom is able to find a bit of retribution in the mid lane, taking down Yizhak, as now Toxic Trophy uses the last of the mana to scare Kingling away. But Maroochydore, after a troubling game number 1, have turned things around in our second affair.
Yeah, they're really not going down without a fight. They've swapped their roles here, Formal. They've said, look, it didn't work last time. The Thresh just wasn't working. Let's swap up. No more Mr. Nice Guy, really. And it's working for them. Yizhak is really decided to just throw his carry pants on and decided that last game was nothing and he's going to really represent his school.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a great job in that right now. I just worry, is it enough that we're seeing from Maroochydore? Because when we compare the individual gold differences, yes,
Yeah.
Echok has that lead, but Tom the Magic Bomb, only 100 gold behind the mid lane, is
Yeah.
actually still an advantage to Ethan of Note over Kikatsuki. Bot lane is the one thing going Maroochidore's way for a second time in a row. Kingling has a relatively significant gold lead over Chippy at this stage. However, that doesn't come into account with that Vel'Koz and what we know Toxic Trophy can do. So it's a small lead for Maroochydore. Is it going to be enough? This Dragon fight could tell us. Dragon already ticking quite low, but we might see the steal attempt. Ooh. It is going to be secured by Yijok, but at what cost? As the Elastic Slingshot immediately makes quick work of that jungler, and Kingling is the next target, trying to rocket jump to safety. But with the use of the Realm Warp, they could be warping right into a trap as the teleport does get used. A bit of a miscommunication since Tom the Magic Bomb in way too deep. Spoodermaw is going to cut off Ethan of Note. It does look as if Tom's going to escape, and somehow, someway, Toxic Trophy arrives just in time to save that mid laner. Another Elastic Slingshot does make contact with Kitatsuki, and that will result in the Trist going down as well as our mid laner. But with the Hemo playing damage, this could be a massive turnaround for Kit Kat, but he doesn't have the damage to get the kill. Instead, it's a triple to Chippy, and a huge fight goes the Lakers Legends' way.
That's kind of what we wanted to see from Maroochydore last game to try and swap it up, but they saw, Lakers, I should say, saw this opportunity to really stop the Maroochydores, just take the steam out of their wheels here and just stop them in their tracks and kind of say, we're still the contenders here, and that's exactly what they've done. Now up in gold by 2.5K, and that's the power of one fight. Formal, you can really just change the tide of the game with one fight like that, and we were saying that obviously the golds weren't that different, which they're still not, but yeah, just that one fight has really put them quite far ahead now.
Yeah, but the thing is, too, where the gold actually got distributed, going into that fight, Kingling had a relatively significant gold lead. It was nearly 1K over Chippy. No longer the case. Chippy now actually in front of Kingling, not by much, but that entire gold discrepancy is now for naught. Not to mention, Ethan of Note starting to accelerate that mid lane even more, sitting about 1K over Kikatsuki. These are the damage dealers, and these are the sort of numbers that we're going to be seeing sort of affecting fights moving forward. Now, Kikatsuki, if they had a little bit more damage, that would have been a quadra kill, and that would have possibly ended this game for Maroochydore. Instead, now we're seeing a Lakers Legends with confidence dropping that ultimate disintegration rage, going after Kingling. That is a big heal, though, coming out of Breadweave, as the Rift Herald was dropped up top. Weird Elastic Slingshot as well from Tom the Magic Bomb. Yishok going to use that to try to get some poke in. Shelly doesn't get that next charge, I believe. No, it wasn't even Smite used right there, just a good punch on the eye.
Yeah, for sure. Really just wanted that little charge just to kind of put a bit of pressure on Maroochydore. Ooh, let's just say that.
Speaking of pressure on Maroochydore, blue buff does get smited away. I didn't quite grab who got it, but I think it was Tom who actually secured it. Spoodermaw now alone doing a lot of work against Kurta as Tom is just trying to drive this Mundo away. Ethan and Note is roaming down. Will take the blasting cone over the wall, goes straight after Yijok, but cannot save his top laner. Still, a nice double kill picked up for Ethan of Note, a 2-for-1 in favor of the Lakers Legends.
This is where Ethan's going to start popping off. Obviously, it's not his 15-0 Yone that kicked off pretty much at the 2-minute mark, but he's starting to pump out a heap of damage. Formally, he's now got his Oblivion Orb all ready to go. The tier is stacking up. Everfrost ready to go, and that's almost a Rise that is fully online there.
Yeah, and that's going to be a scary side lane threat moving forward as soon as they can get that Rise to the side lane, because map control so far still has been very in favor of Maroochydore, and you can sort of see that reflected in the fact that top tower, the only tower to go down, was in favor of this red side. I don't imagine we're going to be seeing that mid lane stay alive for too much longer, though. Ethan of Note is going to want the help from his team, I feel like, to push that mid tower down, get himself onto the side lane. So we might even see a bot mid lane swap at some stage in the near future as Spoodermaw going after Tom the Magic Bomb right now. Elastic Slingshot used to escape. Actually, he escapes deeper into the jungle as Breadweave might be getting caught out right now. A great use of the Realm Orb and the ultimate disintegration ray. 2 ultimates, 2 more kills for Ethan of Note, as this Rise is definitely online.
That is the Toxic Trophy that we saw last game, and that's what I've been waiting for to come out again. Former, he's so good at setting up these kills for his team, and he's still 1-0, but he just knows when to knock these people up. And a beautiful ultimate there to take Kingling down to half health before his team could even focus it. But yeah, Toxic Trophy knows Vel'Koz in and out by the looks of it, and it's so much fun watching him play it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a bit of a treat to watch in this game and in this series. I mean, the entire Lakers Legends team, though, when they start to fight as a team, you can really see the strength of the squad right now. Their target selection and their synergies with their abilities has been second to none in this series. As Kit Katsuki is going to go ahead and drop that Sanguine Pool to avoid the last slingshot. Still needs to burn Flash and is still in danger. Ethan of Note, though, won't be able to chase this one up.
Yeah, 100%. Watching these teams kind of come together, and we mentioned at the start, before game one, anyone can be a solo carry for your solo games, but this is what these sort of games are about. Seeing these two teams come together and really show their skills as a team and to lift each other up into these carry roles, and that's where Ethan of Note and I think Toxic Tropher and
yeah, Magic Bomb is able to hit Breadweave with that slingshot right now. Kingling should be the target, but they're just letting the Triss auto hit. This Zach nearly gets her down. Kurta is able to find that damage onto the Triss. Meanwhile, the dive, a second dive, does help get that kill. The Buster Shot not enough to save Tristana on this instant, so both Breadweave and Kingling are gone. Dragon looking to be secured, stopping that road to the Dragon Soul that Maroochydore was looking for. Yishok spotted by the ward. The Disintegration Ray actually helps set up Tom for the kill, who's now no longer within smite range of the Dragon. Doesn't matter, will be picked up by Chippy. And this is the Lakers legend finally in control of this game.
Yeah, this is where they wanted to be from the get-go, but their whole team, again, is looking at 5-3, 150 gold shutdowns, and that's just how we ended the last game. Formal.
Oh, look how fast they burn through a champion, even like Mundo. Flash has to be used, and it's not enough. Kurta finally gets their first kill on the board, and you know that one felt good.
Oh, yeah. The thing about the damage here, Formal, is you're looking at such high damage champions like Kurta, like Ethan of Note, Caitlyn, Darius, Rise, and even Vel'Koz with the true damage, and that's what makes Vel'Koz such a... and the Rise damage.
Yeah, especially that Rise damage. I mean, that's the one we're really going to be having to watch out for moving forwards.
100%. Yeah, stopping that third Dragon from going down there was super vital as well, because after you start packing that on and start getting to that Dragon, the Dragon Soul sort of range, that's where you're going to start finding it to be harder and harder. But we're going to stop that one way now, one more away, I should say. It's going to be able to keep moving that forward, and the Baron is now an objective that they should really start looking forward towards, I should say.
Yeah, I imagine we are going to be seeing a bit more of that Baron pressure in the very near future from either of these teams, realistically, because, again, if you're sitting on Maroochydore, I mean, you're still a tower up, you're still a dragon up, you're not necessarily feeling like this is the end of the world right now. You can still play around that map and try to be proactive, don't get me wrong, but you've got to be very careful on the fights that you pick, and you need to play around Kingling, I feel like, as much as possible. That's something where I'd feel the team faltered back in game number 1, and we're seeing that again in game number 2. Ethan of Note playing a very patient game right now. It's going to go for something crazy. Here comes the initiation. Oh, blink, and you missed it. Kingling is gone.
That's it, the Ethan of Note special. We saw him do it last game on the Yonu with his fates unsealed. He heard our call here, Formal. He heard me say, I would love to see him on a control mage, and that's exactly what he's done, and is still blowing people up.
Yeah, that was brutal. Brutal stuff coming from Ethan of Note right now, as this team, this Lakers legend side, on a warpath to victory, it seems. Yishok going to try to fight back, but you step near this Rise, and you are done, apparently. Another kill picked up, and now Breadweave alone on the tower just in time for the rest of the team to arrive. Up top as well, Shelly is getting dropped. Spoodermaw still doing quite well against this Darius, except needs a bit more help if they want to go for the kill, and with Shelly in the tower's face, not much more they can do. Cavalry is arriving, or at least a Yordle and a Blood Mage. I'm not even sure. Yeah, in lore, right? Like, why is he not a vampire? That's all I'm going to ask. Like,
I thought he was a vampire.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's got a vampire skin.
True. That he does.
I was going to say, throw this back to the pre-game 1 as well, Formal, about a good team can stop a backdoorer, but when we just watched Kurta continue to do it, that's what Kurta's doing. That's what he did last game, or wanted to do last game anyway. Oh,
as we do see. Oh no.
Ethan of Note doesn't stop now, Formal. He's on a warpath.
Yeah, absolutely is. Kurta, though, actually going to be the one in trouble right here. The ukulele makes contact, and Kurta is going somewhere over the rainbow with that. Another kill picked up by Spoodermaw, who is going to be looking to try and get this split push going. I just don't know if it's going to work out.
Yeah, I'm not sure him and his team are in the right position to be doing this split push. I mean, he is backing now, which I think is the right call. Because if he starts getting run down by Ethan of Note, even Tom the Magic Bomb, he's got nowhere to go. He's just going to go down, and him being down is a massive part of his team. And I actually think he might need to stick with the team until Kurta comes back up and goes back to split pushing.
Yeah, that probably is going to be the call, and it does look as if that's somewhat... Well, no, it doesn't look at all like what they're trying to do. I wanted to believe that they were going to be setting themselves up like that. However, with another dragon about to hit the rift, I think that's going to be drawing the attention of pretty much everyone. And we're in a tough place right now where I almost feel like with the bot lane opened up for the Lakers legend, if they win a massive fight, that could be our series over and done.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, dragons coming up. This is the almost soul point for... Maroochydore here, and they want this. In theory, they need this here, Formal.
Yeah, that they do. Tom the Magic Bomb is going to back off for now, though. Pressure being set up around the dragon as we see. Ooh, nice use of the Yodel Trap right there. Gets a chunk of damage down onto the Bread Weeb. Death Bush set up above Vision. Not really in the Dragon Pit, so they're going to have to try and initiate something blind, or at least see it with that Yodel Trap. That's going to prompt everyone to go in. The Magic Bomb doesn't get the knockup, but he gets the Dragon Steal. And now comes the ensuing fight, and you can see the gold difference in action. Immediately scattered, immediately taken low as Maroochydore, and with Tom the Magic Bomb on the flank, there is really nowhere safe they can run, not even in their own jungle. Ace in the hole nearly takes down Kingling as Spoodermaw is forced to flash just from an elastic slingshot. It's not the game-ending fight yet, but it's definitely the Lakers legends flexing their muscles and showing how in control they are.
Yeah, 100%. This is where you'd be looking towards the Baron now as well. Jungler down, no one can stop you with that smite. Fantastic Dragon Steal from Tom the Magic Bomb as well. Throwing himself in there, it really was just him and 4 of the enemy team, and still timed it perfectly. Knew when he needed to press, and he knew what needed to be done, and he did do that. Now it is a 2-all for the Dragons, and this is kind of where the Lakers, I think, might run away with it, Formal.
I have to be in agreement with you right there. They collect themselves a quick Baron. Now it's all about the reset and all about cracking open that Maroochydore base. Maroochydore, they needed that dragon. Their way back into this game, I do believe, was that Dragon Soul. And now you're at essentially 10 minutes before a chance that they could possibly get there, with the Baron now currently acting against them, so they're going to have to fight through a lot of map control to even challenge for what would be the 5th dragon of the Rift. It just looks so difficult for them unless they can find some dream teamfight scenarios, some dream pick scenarios. It does feel as if Maroochydore is very heavily on that back foot. One more mistake, it's going to cost them everything.
Yeah, I mean, we do have to look at the other way as well. If we just see one of those really good structured fights that we did kind of see early on before the Lakers kind of just threw it back and took the lead, if we can see another one of those where we just grab all those shutdowns back over, get them on Kingling and really just support Kingling and be able to just throw out damage, we could be seeing a longer game here, Formal.
Yeah, we very well could be seeing a longer match for sure as we see Katsumi stepping up to Ethan of Note before getting bullied out away. Meanwhile, Kurta, trying to 1v2 right now, trying to buy time. The Elastic Slingshot goes straight after Yishak, gets the knock-up as well. And with Toxic Trophy in that back line, expect the damage to come through with that Ultimate Disintegration Ray, just absolutely blitzing everyone. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Ethan of Note was also able to find a kill onto Kingling on that bot side, and now comes what could be that final push. You need to react, and I'm looking around the map, and I am still seeing Lakers Legends, kind of meandering around in that mid lane, not really shoving in these lanes. They're taking their time, I feel like, and I don't necessarily agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, normally we would like to see, like you said, this a little bit of urgency where the Caitlyn... the Caitlyn...
Where did Breadweep's health go? it was there 1 second, and then I looked back, and it was gone.
A little bit more urgency in pushing these lanes, but something I did want to quickly mention while we have some downtime is that Toxic Trophy's actually got a different build than what he did last game.
Yeah, a bit more of that mana burn, a bit more, adaptation against that lifesteal, against the tankiness, and that's something that you really enjoy seeing. Kingling forced a rocket jump to safety. Ace in the hole. Makes contact with the wrong member. Tom the Magic Bomb still looking to go in. Still looking to force Spice. Meanwhile, Ethan of Note actually is going to get run down by Yijok here. Not able to turn that one around, but picking off the mid laner comes at a cost. 2 inhibitors have been destroyed. Baron Empowered Canyons getting to work deep inside the base. They won't be able to end the game now, but the Lakers Legends still on the precipice of victory.
Yeah, still very close. And pretty funny watching Yijok and Kit Katsuki kind of chase Ethan of Note all the way out of their base, all the way to their second tier turret, just to almost kind of stick it to him. Hey, have another death. We want that shutdown, and we'll take it from you, even if it costs us 2 inhibitors.
Yeah, exactly that. As we do continue, just something to explain. People were asking in the chat about the differences between Div 2 and Div 1, and essentially what it was is Div 2 was a part of Div 1 as well. It's all kind of that open division, except in order to include all the teams in sort of a knockout bracket, the teams that didn't make the Div 1 knockout instead participated in a Div 2 knockout tournament instead. So that is sort of where we sit right now. So if you're asking what happens to the winners, well, they win the prize, I suppose, of coming out as the Div 2 champion. However, next season, next time they play, they would still be a part of that same open division for another chance, I guess, of what would be the Div 1 title. What makes the Lakers Legends unique, though, however, is they came into the season starting Div 3, got promoted to the open division, and now see themselves here as Tom the Magic Bomb looking to possibly cut off Yijok's escape, and with the Realm Rope bringing Toxic Trophy as well. That's going to be a quick pick, as we do see action in the mid lane. It's just pick after pick. Yeah, you can go gold and kick Katsumi. That's only going to buy you so much time. The flash has to be burned as well. Base is open. Champions pouring in, and Spoodermaw continues to split push.
Yeah, he's going to keep trying, but this is 5 members now. Yeah, I don't know if there's too much you can really do. Oh, that's the power of the AP.
Yeah, I don't think there's much you can do at all. Tom the Magic Bomb zoning Maroochydore back as the Nexus Towers start to fall. A 3-man knockup from Toxic Trophy buys the time needed, and the Lakers Legends are our Division B champions.
That is it. A fantastic display as well. Both games they played excellently. Obviously, this game was a little bit closer than last and only a few minutes longer formal, but both really, really good games. And, I mean, Ethan of Note, top damage both games. I think he had 30,000 last game on the Yone, 29 on the Rise this game.
Yeah, no, definitely Ethan of Note. If we're going to name an MVP, it's going there quite quickly. Tom the Magic Bomb, as well as Toxic Trophy, though each put forth amazing performance. I don't think Toxic Trophy died in either game, thinking back on it.
I don't think so either. He didn't die last game either.
Yeah, no, so Toxic Trophy actually 2 perfect games as well, each on that Vel'Koz. A dominant performance from our Lakers Legends side, and they're going to be quite happy to be that Division 2 champion. For Maroochydore, it was a strong season. They got to play a lot of games, and they put a great effort. However, they are going to be coming up a little bit short for their final goal. Nearly got there, but that's okay. I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is still a growing team, and I think being able to play this many best of series, being able to get this far, can only see growth from this side moving forward. Yijok, interesting game number 2. I do want to highlight this player, though. I was actually impressed with how aggressive they were playing. Yes, it didn't really work out their way, but at times I felt like it was almost more mechanical than essentially from the mind. And well, at least early in the game, and then later in the game, there were situations where this player was trying to force things. So don't let the 11 death fool you. Still a very smart player. I'm also really happy with how Kingling played largely throughout the games as well, although they did struggle late. I know it's strange, like I'm highlighting players like, oh, it's impressed with them, even though they didn't have a strong performance. These were still the players, so that I do rate highly at the end of it all.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both teams played really, really well. Obviously, the first game there was a clear indicator from pretty early on, but it didn't mean that both teams didn't play really well. This is, and we've said it before, that these sort of tournaments are for these kids to learn how to play as a team, and that's exactly what we're watching them do, even in these higher ranks.
Absolutely, and it was a blast to watch. That said, it's going to be a little bit of a break when it comes to Queensland High School. Not until next month is our Division 1 final, and that's going to be happening live in a LAN environment. So that's going to be a lot of fun, something to look forward to. I will be there. I can nearly promise you that, assuming, fingers crossed, that I'm no longer sick then. I'm sure you heard a couple coughs slip through the stream. Apologies for those. I'm going to be keen for it. I'm going to be keen to see who's going to be our state representative. I know this is going to be the year Queensland steps up and puts forth that performance. There's been a lot of great teams. That said, that we won't find out who's going to be our rep until next month. So until then, have a great time, everybody. Thank you one last time for all the teams who are participated in this season. And until I see you live in person at LAN, have a great time, everybody.
Bye.